Hi everyone, welcome once again to Ruby's Classic Cooking. And today I'm kicking off my 2023 Christmas baking with a new recipe called Swedish Strips. Now, this makes a 12 by 15 inch pan of squares, and they're very simple and quick and easy to do. In fact, in about 15 minutes, if you hear that people are coming over to your house, you can have these done and ready to serve, and everybody will love them. Alright, let's get started on this recipe. First, in my bowl, I'm putting 1 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to firmly pack that down. And 1 cup of butter, which I cut up into squares so that it will heat up more quickly and come up to room temperature more quickly, so it'll be easier to combine. Today, I'm using my my KitchenAid stand mixer over here. And first thing I'm going to do is cream these two together, and I'll be back and show you what that looks like. And there's your final result. The brown sugar and butter are now all combined very nicely, and that is the first step. Of course, you can do this part by hand or using a handheld mixer, but today I thought I'm bringing out the stand mixer. Next goes in an egg, so I'm just going to break my egg here in a separate bowl. I only do this for you, just in case there's any shell, or sometimes, every once in a blue moon, you get a bad egg. Nobody needs a bad egg when you get a whole cup of butter and a cup of brown sugar in here. So let's put this egg in here. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to return this to my stand mixer, and I'm going to be beating it all together. Then I'll add my flour. And there you go. Now I'm going to be adding 2 cups of flour. If you're not metric people, when I write this recipe up and it's in the description box below, it will be metric as well as standard measurements, okay? 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour in Canada, and that would be strong flour in the UK or bread flour in the United States. There you go. Now this goes into my stand mixer again, beat it up. Then I'm going to spread it on my cookie sheet and bake it off at 350 degrees in my 350 degree preheated oven for 15 minutes. Alright, here comes the next step. Now I'm going to take all my batter here, my dough, I'm going to press this flat and cover the entire bottom of my 12 by 15 1-inch pan, which is 38 centimeters by 30 centimeters. And will be by 2.5 centimeters. I'm just going to dump this all out here. It's quite sticky. And now let's start spreading this out all over the bottom of the pan. Make a nice even layer. This base is like shortbread, and it should be about 1/4 of an inch, which is about 1/8 of a centimeter thick when you're finished. Let's press it all out evenly. And after it comes out of the oven, and while it's still hot, I'm going to be finishing this off with a thin layer of jam. Today I have chosen strawberry jam, but you can use cherry jam, raspberry jelly, strawberry jelly. Use whatever your favorite flavor is. A nice red jam is going to make a nice Christmassy look to it. But if it's not Christmas time, you don't have to worry about it being red. And then I'm going to sprinkle on it a 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. Now you can use walnuts, you can use whatever your favorite kind of nuts are. I'm also adding a 1/2 cup of the candied mixed peel chopped up, and to make it more Christmassy. If it's not Christmas, you don't have to worry about adding it. You could add chopped glacé cherries in red and green if you wanted to. You could make one section that's nuts, and one section that's cherries, and one section that's candied mixed peel if you like. And after I'm finished doing that, I'll sprinkle it all with some icing sugar, confectioners sugar, the really super fine kind of sugar that is, you use it to make icing, and it's super fine ground white sugar that has cornstarch mixed in to keep it from clumping. Just sprinkle that over so it looks like a layer of snow over top. And then, while it's still warm, you cut it into you can use a pizza cutter to cut it up into nice thin strips, 1 inch wide or centimeter wide, and cut them into a nice square size. You can make them squares, you can go diagonally and make diamond shapes, or you can make a combination, diamonds and squares. Or if you happen to have, say, one of those continuous cookie rollers, those fancy cookie rollers, you could roll it over that, and that would probably make you some really fancy looking cookies. Anyway, I'm just going to cut with my pizza cutting wheel and make some nice triangles or squares. Now, there you go. That looks nice and even to me. Now, into my preheated 350-degree oven. That's 350 degree Fahrenheit. That's about 163 degrees Celsius. And that goes for 15 minutes. And then I'll be back and show you how I finish these off. And here is my cookie base, all nice and hot from the oven. And see how it's nicely golden brown and ready. It's all cooked. Now it's ready for the jam. We'll just carry on with the next bunch here. Now, make sure you have everything all ready. Your jam is open and your nuts are all chopped and everything. And now about 125 milliliters or half a cup of jam is going to get spread all over the top of this. I'm going to act quickly while it's hot. Spread it in a nice thin layer. There's lots of strawberries in this jam. Lovely homemade jam, which I've won in an auction. I knew it would be good strawberry jam. And it'll give a nice Christmassy look to my Swedish strips. Yes, indeed. Right up to the edges here with my jam. I got this recipe from my oldest sister, and she told me cherry jam is the best kind of jam to use, but I didn't have any cherry jam, so I figured strawberry is nice and red and lovely, has a lovely flavor, and it would make a nice Christmas treat. Well, this is still warm. Got my jam all nicely spread. A few seconds here to melt a little bit into the top of my cookie dough, my cookie base. Melt here on the top of my cookie base and even itself out. There we go. And now, here's my nuts. I'm going to sprinkle my half a cup of nuts. These are chopped pecans. But like I said, you could use chopped walnuts or you could use whatever kind of chopped nuts you like. And now, from my chopped mixed peel, which is from the deluxe mix. And I'm just going to sprinkle some of that over here. That'll give me a real Christmassy look, kind of a jewel kind of a look here for my thingies here. Now just kind of press this down into the top of my jam. There we go. We have some that have more nuts and less nuts, and it's all going to be lovely. Every bite will be a little bit different. And now over top of this all, I've got my icing sugar and my sprinkling thing here. You can do this through a regular sifter, but I've got this handy dandy little gadget here that sifts it as it sprinkles it out. Yeah, it's like a fall of snow on top of your squares, on top of your Swedish strips. That's about a half a cup of icing sugar, or 125 milliliters of icing sugar. And there you are, Swedish strips. And next, I'm going to cut them while they're still warm. If you cut them while they're still warm, I guess that's best to cut them while they're still warm. Just grab my pizza cutter, and I'll start off by doing some straight across this way to make some nice squared off ones. I cut them about 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter wide, or however big you want to make them. They're your squares and it's your company. So you kind of pick. Okay, now I'm just going to go across this way. Make mine into squares as opposed to rectangles. You can use a knife to do this as well, but I was advised that the pizza cutter works better, and it certainly seems to do the job nicely. There we go. Now maybe I'll try my hand at some diamonds, see if I can get some diamonds going here. Let's see what we got going here. See if I can make some the same size but diamond shape. See if I have the kind of luck I have doing that, eh? I've never tried diamond shaped squares before. Diamond shaped squares, listen to me. I've never tried making diamond shaped little pieces here before, but let's see how they turn out. And there they are. My squares are all ready now. All I have to do is wait for them to cool off. And there you have it. My squares are all cut and ready to serve just as soon as they cool off. And I have a whole large pan of squares, and I'll have some pretty diamond shaped ones and some rectangle ones. And if I wanted, like I said, to put some different toppings on top of this, I could even throw some chocolate on here if I want to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my recipe today, that you will like, subscribe, comment, try this recipe at home, and join me next time on Ruby's Classic Cooking. Bye for now.